Hey. That's too hot right now. The tea is too hot. And to address the elephant in the room, yes, I cut my hair. You might not be able to tell because my shirt is black, but it's literally so short. I don't know what to do with it. Any short hair tips, please let me know. I'm just not used to it at all. I'm going to be reading questions from my Tumblr. I'll put my link to my Tumblr down below. And yeah, let's just do it. Do you want kids? Yes, I do. Hopefully 3 or 4, but we shall see. Do you still have time to go to the gym nowadays? This is a good question because it's really easy when you start working a 9 to 5 job to like get caught up in that and not make time for it. I am so guilty of this. And I will say, I do have a gym membership, and there are weeks where I'll go almost every day. There will be weeks and weeks and weeks where I don't go. My biggest piece of advice is find something that works in your schedule. I just try to keep active in some way, shape, or form. So on a Sunday, if I'm like really not in the mood to go all the way to the gym, I still at least like put on sneakers, go outside, and go on like a walk. But I understand the struggle. I know it's so hard to like get through a whole work day, and going to the gym is like the last thing I want to do. You just try your best. We're all trying our best out here. Someone asked, did your parents pay for your college? I want to be totally transparent about this. Of course, my parents helped me through college so much, and I'm so thankful for that. With that being said, though, I do have quite a bit of loans. My parents did not pay in full for my college. And on top of that, they obviously helped out with my rent at school and if I needed textbooks or school supplies, etc. But I still paid for all my social life. So if I wanted to go out to dinner, if I wanted to take an Uber to a bar, if I wanted to buy drinks, like I had to pay for all of that. I also paid for my gas and anything related to my car because I was lucky enough to have my car at school. So obviously, I'm so thankful my parents helped me out, but I think they also made sure I had some skin in the game, and paying my loans off is definitely something I have to think about every month when I'm making my bill payments and just making sure I have enough to pay for that month. Have you used Bumble to go on dates? Yeah, being honest here, I've gone on 2 or 3 Bumble dates. One of them was kind of someone I knew through a mutual friend already, so it wasn't as much of a blind date. I totally recommend it. It's a great way to meet people, but I think maybe talking a little bit beforehand and then also just making sure you're meeting up in a public place. Definitely recommend that. Do you still get ID'd at bars? Yes. Everywhere I go, I get ID'd. It's not as like lax in Boston. I'm 23, so it's not a big deal. Where do you shop for your clothes? This kind of varies, like depending on what type of clothes I'm looking for. So like if I'm looking for more work clothes, I'll go to like TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Old Navy's really good for work clothes, H&M for like basics, and then also like Forever 21 has some like low key like pretty good work clothes. Going out clothes, this is where it really varies because I still haven't found like the places I love the most. I've gotten some stuff from Nasty Gal. I really love Abercrombie and Paige jeans. Obviously, TJ Maxx and Marshalls, love those stores. That was creepy. If anyone's wondering, my mug has llamas on it. I love llamas so much. It's still too hot though. I'm looking to move to Boston next summer, and rent is obviously ridiculously expensive. Do you recommend any outer cities in Boston that are a little less expensive? I haven't had any luck finding any cute small apartments like yours. Also, finding parking for your car is usually a problem, question mark. So, okay, this is like a loaded question in itself, and I'm no expert. I will say my apartment is like perfect for me, and it's also not cheap, but it is a great price for like the size of the apartment itself. But I do pay an additional $200 park behind my building because I live somewhat in Brookline, Massachusetts, but there's no overnight parking. So something to keep in mind based on like where you're looking to live. Some places you actually might not need to pay for a parking spot, and you can just get street parking for free. Alston, Brighton are great. Somerville. And I don't know, like just going a little bit outside of the city, as long as you're close enough to take a train or Uber in, it's probably going to save you a lot more money. What has been your favorite season of life so far? Ooh, this is an interesting question. Personally, I'm a very like nostalgic person, so like seasons of my life, I guess I look back on fondly. There's only like a couple of portions of my life where I'm like, I would never want to go relive that part of my life. I would say, honestly, like, college was great. I don't know if it's been my favorite season of life. I might say, like, honestly, the past almost 2 years, like, since graduation have been, like, really awesome. I'm sure this is just the beginning, but it's the start of, like, me feeling like I have ownership in my life and I have my own money, I have my own career, and where I go from here is kind of what I make of it, and that almost is, like, something I really like, but I'm not sure if it's my favorite. I don't know. I feel like the best is yet to come. Do you ever see yourself moving out of Boston and back to New Hampshire? Yes and no. I know, like, long term when I get, like, married and I have kids and stuff, I don't want to be living, like, in the city, but I do want to live, like, somewhere near Boston or around some sort of city. It doesn't have to be Boston. Technically, I'm from New Hampshire, but I'm only from an hour north of Boston, so I wouldn't mind, like, living in that area, but I also wouldn't mind, like, moving to, like, an outer suburb of Boston. Do you ever miss high school, and what do you miss most about it? So crazy to think high school for me was over 5 years ago. That is crazy. I don't miss high school per se, but high school I do have really great memories. When I played soccer, I had a really great friend group. We did, like, everything together, guys and girls included. You know, we'd have bonfires, we'd have basement parties, we'd go camping, and, like, I have a lot of really good memories from high school. I want to say I miss it because there were things about high school that, like, I didn't like, and those things don't exist anymore. You know, living under the same roof as my parents and having to abide by their rules. I don't miss, like, classes in high school at all either. The amount of homework I had, like, college applications, like, I don't miss that stuff. But I always look back on it fondly. I just don't, like, want to go back to it, if that makes any sense. Do you have any tips for saving money? So actually, this is, like, a whole video idea I was going to do, but I might as well just talk about it here. Okay, so I'm just going to go down my list of, like, some tips and tricks I have to saving money. And I'm not an expert, like I said, but these are ways that I found that are helpful. Pooling in general. Sometimes I'll get places like 10, 15 minutes later than I would have if I just took a direct Uber. But pooling, to me, like, I meet new people and it's honestly, like, worth my time. And a lot of times it's the difference of, like, an Uber pool is $6 and an Uber itself would be like $25. So I always Uber pool if I'm not in a rush. I also pack a lunch to work all the time. Like, I definitely think this is a money saver. If you eat lunch every day and you're spending between $5 and $10 every day, that's about almost $50 a week just on, like, lunches. So I try to pack my lunch because I can spend $50 on groceries and that can be a whole week of lunches. I also make my own coffee, so I'll go to Starbucks, like, maybe once or twice a month on, like, a day where I just really I'm craving at Starbucks. But other than that, I'll make in my Keurig, or at work I'll just make a hot cup of coffee, and that's free. So definitely recommend. That will save you a ton of money. Whenever I get a haircut trim, so, like, not, like, anything crazy like cutting off this much of my hair, I'll go to Supercuts. Supercuts, I can get a haircut less than $20 and they do a great job. Choosing your battles in terms of, like, what things are important to you. So, like, a lot of people I know do want to get their nails done every couple weeks, and, like, that's important to them, or they want to go tanning, or they want to be joining the most fancy gym ever. I definitely just recommend, like, choose what's more important to you. For me, like, I can just self-tan at home. I pay my own nails. I only get them done, like, when I have a special occasion. Getting a rewards credit card. So I have the Amazon Prime rewards card, and I honestly recommend it so much because I get cash back. And if you're going to be spending the money anyways, look into, like, getting a credit card that's going to have some sort of incentive or, like, a reward for spending. I also have a TJ Maxx rewards card, so every $200 I spend within TJ Maxx, Home Goods, Marshalls, and HomeSense, I get $10 rewards. So I already shop at those stores all the time. Like, maybe I'm not spending $200 every month, but it all adds up, and eventually I get a little reward. So definitely recommend that. But obviously, if you don't shop at TJ Maxx, it's not worth it to you. Doing laundry at home. So, like, I have a washer and dryer in my basement. It's $1.75 per load. So if I want to do 3 loads of laundry, that adds up quick. So I actually go home a bunch to do laundry. I kind of go home to see my parents, like, every few weeks anyway. So I just bring a load of laundry with me. It's just really awesome, and I save money that way, and they're nice enough to let me do that. My last 2 tips are open a savings account. Definitely try, like, every month, just put a little bit of money away because you never know what's going to happen. Also, like, you can gain interest on that. And then the last thing is, when you listen to podcasts or even, like, follow Instagram influencers, they are always throwing out coupon codes. And, like, that's kind of what the point of those influencers are. So definitely take advantage of that. Any advice for someone going through heartbreak? Ooh. I guess my only advice is how you feel now is not how you're always going to feel. For example, it's really easy to like memorialize something in our minds and like think of it really positively. So that's why I think heartbreak is so hard sometimes, is like you're thinking back and you're like, oh my gosh, like you second guess things. You're like, what if I did this? What if I didn't do this? And you also like forget about all the reasons why it ended in the first place and you only think of like the good things. And it's not bad to think of that, but I think it makes it harder to get over things because you don't remember exactly why it ended. It's kind of weird, but I recommend just writing. Like write down everything you're feeling, everything that the person either did or didn't do, etc. And then you can always look back on it and like remind yourself like why something had to end. It doesn't mean something like wasn't worth the time. It doesn't mean that you can't think back on it fondly, but just knowing that like it didn't work out for a reason. These things were great, but these things weren't, and that's why it ended, and he's just not my forever person. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Whoa. So in 5 years, I'm going to be 28. That's gross. I would hope when I'm 28, I don't want to center around this, but I would hope that by then I'd find, someone, a guy that's going to be in my life long term. That would be great. And also, I just hope that I have my MBA and I'm like doing really well in my job. Whether that be at the current company I'm with or at a different one, doesn't matter. I just hope that I've, advanced in some way. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. If I should do more of these, let me know. And also down below, I'm going to put my links to my Instagram, my Tumblr. Those are things that I'm constantly posting on, so you can keep up with me in between posts. Cover recommendations below would be also super helpful. I'm always trying to record new music. Bye, guys.